Hello FPL managers, today we go over the template first draft for the new Premier League season. In today's video we have a look at the highest selected 15-man squad so far by FPL managers and discuss strong and weak points of the team. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as we're trying to hit 8k subs by the start of the new Premier League season, and with that being said, let's get into the video. So starting off with the goalkeeper, Mendy features in goals as his ownership nearly sits at 25%. This does give him a 7% higher ownership than any other keeper, with Alisson sitting at around 18%. With Mendy's price currently sitting at £5 million, he looks to be an excellent value pick in goals as he scored 130 points last season. Mendy didn't get quite as many clean sheets as expected, only getting the 14, and didn't really make too many saves either with 73. But with Chelsea's excellent fixture run to start the season from a defensive standpoint, I believe he can make a good start to the year in between the sticks. They face Everton away in game week 1 with the departure of Richarlison to their team, so I do think their attack's going to be significantly reduced. Then after that they face Spurs, Leeds, Leicester, Southampton, West Ham and Fulham, making for a solid starting 7 game weeks. I would expect Chelsea to get a clean sheet in at least 3 or 4 out of these games, plus a couple of save bonus for Mendy, so over the start of the season he could be one of the highest scoring keepers. The good thing with Mendy is that at that price you can easily go down to a 4.5 keeper if you prefer them, as they prove to be better value, such as the likes of Raya or Sanchez. Looking towards the defenders now, Trent Alexander-Arnold is no surprise to see there with a 56.2% ownership, which is significantly higher than any other defender. Of course this is expected as he was the highest scoring defender last season with 208 points, with 2 goals, 12 assists and 18 clean sheets. Trent had the highest expected assist figure out of anyone last season with 10.82, beating the likes of De Bruyne and Salah. So if he can replicate these attacking numbers as well as Liverpool racking in those clean sheets, he's going to be an excellent FPL asset. Moving on, Reece James comes in with a 43% ownership at £6 million, as I do think him and Chilwell are probably £500,000 too cheap. Reece James had a very solid season for Chelsea last year, getting himself 141 points in just 1800 minutes with 5 goals, 9 assists and 7 clean sheets. Reece James had the second highest expected assist per 90 out of any defender last year that played at least 800 minutes, so he's another one that provides excellent attacking potential. As I touched on before with Mendy, Chelsea have those fixtures to start the season that allow them to get plenty of clean sheets, so I am hoping Reece James can continue his point scoring. The new signing to Tottenham, Ivan Perisic, has been one that's caught the eye of a lot of FPL managers, with a very high ownership of 45.9% at the moment. At £5.5 million, he also looks to be decent value. The only main question over his head is whether he's going to get that many starts. Of course, as he is quite old, he's getting on, he's going to need some rotation. But at least to start this season, he should string together a couple of games where they face Southampton, Chelsea, Wolves and Forest as their first 4 opponents, which is excellent from a defensive standpoint. As a result, I could see Spurs getting 3 clean sheets out of their first 4 matches, so definitely in the short term at least, this man is a good pick. And to finish off the defenders, Cancelo comes in at £7 million and is the second highest owned defender in FPL with a 46% ownership. This is because he was the second highest point scoring defender last season with 11 assists and 19 clean sheets, also accompanied by 1 goal as well. He proved to be a nailed asset in that Man City defence, and if he can continue these starting minutes next season, he will be one of the highest scoring defenders once more. Cancelo actually took the most shots per 90 out of any defender last season with 2.26, so hopefully he can turn this into more goals in the new year. Looking towards the midfielders now, Luis Diaz is part of a 2-man Liverpool midfield to feature here with a 31.8% ownership. This makes Diaz the second highest owned player in midfield, only beside of Mo Salah. In 960 minutes for Liverpool last season, Luis Diaz had the 8th highest XG per 90 out of any midfielder at 0.4. He also had the 8th highest expected FPL points per 90 out of any midfielder that played 800 minutes last season, so if he can keep being nailed for Liverpool in that wing role, he's going to be getting plenty of points. Bruno Guimaraes is a surprise to feature in this team with a 22% ownership at the moment, but I can see why managers have gone for him after a strong end to last year. Guimaraes was able to get himself 5 goals and 1 assist as he was one of Newcastle's best attacking assets, and with their good first 2 fixtures of Nottingham Forest and Brighton, he could add to this goal tally. Mo Salah of course is the obvious pick in the middle of the park with nearly a 60% ownership. He is the most expensive player in the game at £13 million, but he is definitely worth it. As far as absolutely necessary players go in your FPL team, Mo Salah is just about as close as it gets, as he did win the Golden Boot once again with 23 goals last year, and Liverpool have those excellent fixtures for him to continue this goal scoring run. Neto concludes the midfield at £5.5 million, and a lot of managers do see this value in him, as he currently has a 22.5% ownership. The Wolves midfielder has the fixtures to make a good start to this new Premier League season, as in the first 6 weeks he faces Leeds, Fulham, Spurs, Newcastle, Bournemouth and Southampton. Now glancing over to the forwards, Erling Haaland is the highest owned player in FPL at the moment with a 64.6% ownership, coming in at £11.5 million. A lot of managers are picking up on his nice price, as I was expecting him to be 12 or 12.5 million, and with City's kind run of fixtures to start the season, he's going to make an excellent start. Man City face West Ham, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest in their first 5, facing 2 out of the 3 promoted sides. He will be getting plenty of service from his Man City teammates as well, so I don't see any shortages of chances for him, it's just whether he can take them. So as far as premium forwards go, he is definitely one of the best picks alongside Kane, so I can see why managers are opting for Haaland. Gabriel Jesus closes out the 4-4-2 formation at £8 million for Arsenal. Jesus is the second highest owned forward with over a 50% ownership so far, and I can see why, as he's made a great start for Arsenal in pre-season. He was able to get himself 2 goals for the Gunners and score within 90 seconds of his debut. Amongst forwards, his underlying stats were very promising as well, as last season he had the highest expected assists per 90 out of any forward that played at least 800 minutes with 0.28. His XG stats were also very solid amongst forwards, ranking 7th highest in XG per 90. So if he can replicate these numbers at Arsenal, being the main focal point of their attack and obviously getting more starting minutes than he was at Man City, I expect him to be one of the highest scoring forwards this season. Arsenal have some great fixtures to suit, facing Crystal Palace, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham and Villa as their first 5. So if you aren't currently a Jesus owner, I would strongly recommend getting him into your teams, as he's going to start the year with a bang. So with that starting 11 complete, let's have a look at the bench. To make this team viable and realistic, the squad value is coming in at £100 million, so the bench does go accordingly. Fraser Forster comes in at £4 million as the sub goalkeeper, as he's the highest owned player at this price for Spurs. Definitely a good pick, as I'm assuming he'll be second choice to Hugo Lloris, and he has got plenty of starting minutes for Southampton, so we know what we're going to get. Obviously, if Lloris doesn't play, then Forster's going to be going into a very strong defence. If he can get some cheeky starting minutes, I'm sure he's going to get plenty of clean sheets. Vestergaard is the most popular 4 million defender, as I do think he's very underpriced. He probably should be at least 4.5, as I would be expecting him to get some starting minutes for Leicester as well. That is currently why 14% of managers do own him, and I do think he's going to prove to be good value if you're looking for 4 starting defenders. Andreas Pereira is the highest owned 4.5 midfielder, as the transfer of him to Fulham is on the horizon, as he's probably going to be starting in a central attacking midfield role. This is obviously incredibly rare to get a cam at £4.5 million in FPL, so when he does make this move to Fulham, he's going to be a nice pick. Obviously he won't be a starting option, but definitely a very solid bench filler, and could be used if a player is injured and he needs to come on. And as far as 4.5 forwards go, Greenwood has significantly higher ownership than any other player in that position, with a 27.8% ownership. In fact, he's the 3rd highest owned forward in FPL at the moment, only behind Haaland and Jesus, highlighting how most managers are going for a 2 forward or 1 forward formation. So looking at the stats of this team, the squad value is exactly £100 million, with 0.08 left in the bank. Thanks for watching today's video. If you guys want to become a channel member, then click the join button down below and get featured on the members board at the end of the videos, just like Philip Ash here. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to show support for the channel, and click the notification bell. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.